So, it's morning. How you feeling? Lots of my friends say, "Oh, I've got a bad back. My knees are hurting. My shoulder. I've got to get out of bed. I don't want to get out of bed." So, I was thinking, okay, so why not a 15-minute Yin Yoga fix to help you start your day in the right way, I suppose. So, my name is Paul Steele. I'm the author of Yin Yoga 50 Plus, especially for older people who'd rather not get older anymore. So let's have a look at a few things that we can do to just make us start the day right. I mean, if you think about a cat, for instance, the first thing it does is it stretches out its back and then it sort of thinks about it, stretches the other way, and then stretches again maybe, then hops out of bed and off it goes. So let's have a look at a couple of the stretches that we could do that would hopefully help us feel more frisky than the cat that just jumped off the bed. Let's see. So the first one I would do, imagine you've been lying down, or you've got to get back up again. So one good one you can do directly is butterfly pose. And to do butterfly, all you're going to do is, okay, you're sitting up, you pushed yourself up maybe aching a bit in the base of your spine. So simply put your feet together and then let your legs just drop either side. And you can do one of two things. Either push and come down until you can get hold of your feet, or as far as you can possibly get. I mean, if you're really stiff, you might only just come down to about here, but it doesn't matter. So you've got your legs nice and tucked apart. And the idea is that you slowly but surely, over let's say 2 or 3 minutes, and that's the issue, letting these thighs drop so that you're actually pulling here and here on what's called the adductor muscles, or your groin muscles, if you like. So if I were to sit here just for a few minutes, I can now feel it. I'm feeling it in my lower back here. I'm feeling it in my groin. I'm feeling it slightly in my knees, and particularly in my hips. And what that will do and what that will help is for me to counteract sitting and sitting and lying and lying. So it's a really nice stretch. So just before I show a different way of doing this, there's 3 things to think about when it comes to Yin Yoga. The first is what they call find your edge. Now your edge is basically how far can I go? Where I feel it, I can feel it here, the base of my spine, I can feel it here and here, but where I can hold that pose for quite a long time, normally in Yin Yoga 3 minutes. So off we go, so I can feel it, I'm fine there, I can hold. The second thing is to find stillness. In other words, just try and stay still in the pose. Because if you move around and you jump and you're here and you're there, what's going to happen is you're going to lose that time under tension and you lose some of the effect. So number 1, find your edge. Number 2, find stillness. And number 3 is find the time. Now normally I would use my telephone, but I'm just videoing from the telephone. So what I can do is simply to use my iPad, and then I would just set the start button and I could watch to see how that time is going. And even nicer way, not a nicer way, but another way of doing this particular stretch is simply to lay back. So feet together, let them drop. Maybe move the pillow out of the way and just lay back and have your arms straight, or if you like it, have them out in front of you. And again, this is called reclining butterfly. And what's nice about reclining butterfly is that you're stretching down the sides of your back here, you're stretching in the base of your back, the so-called lumbar vertebrae, while at the same time you're stretching these adductor muscles here. And if you think about it, the older we get, the stiffer our hips get. The stiffer our hips get, the weaker our hips are going to get, and the weaker our back is going to get. So think about this nice stretch for 2 or even 3 minutes. And while you're stretching, the other issue with Yin Yoga is to breathe nice and deeply. Often it's recommended to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. In through your nose and out through your mouth. And I'm feeling this lovely little stretch as it's giving away in the base of my spine here. I'm feeling my shoulders are melting slightly into the mattress. There's a nice phrase, melting into the mattress. And I can feel the good it's already doing me. And then let's say I've been here for 2 or 3 minutes and I think I've talked through 2 or 3 minutes. You want to come out of the pose, bring your arms down. And if your legs are a bit tight here, just get hold of either side of your thighs and just push them together. Just rest a while and just have a couple of nice breaths. 1, 2. And then if you like, maybe drag one leg to your body while you keep one leg straight. Then change it over. So grab the left leg, bring it to your body, take the right leg and pull it straight. You can do this a couple of times. And just to actually what you're doing is just bringing your spine back into feeling, okay, let me wake up. Remember the cat, nice and stretched. When I've done that, or when you've done that, just come around maybe and just spin right the way around. Or you don't need to spin around, it's just that I'm talking to a camera. So the next one I would do is called child's pose. So a child's pose, for me, it's easier to have my knees a little bit out to the sides, so I have a place to put my bottom, if you like, and I put my feet together behind me, and then I just use my hands to just gently push back as far as I can, and then I bring out my arms, 1, 2, and then it's nice because I've already got a blanket here, and I can rest my head on that blanket, and I can feel the pull. And just to explain why child's pose is so good, while I'm in the pose, you can maybe just move to the side here like this. I'm feeling it all the way down the sides of my shoulders, all the way down here to the oblique muscles, into the hips, and if I push down, I can feel it here into the hip. I'm pushing down onto the knee, and I'm also stretching out the ankle. And people forget just how important it is to stretch out the ankle. So again, a lovely, lovely stretch. If I come to the side a bit more, maybe, where I can just come and pretend to be a child again. If it is, and again, what I like about this is stretching out the tops of your shoulders. If you're finding this for any reason painful, I mean, you're in bed, so you have a pillow, you can support your head, or just come all the way down. And even if you prefer, bring your arms and just put them back like this. And here I'm having trouble breathing, so maybe come to the side. And again, nice, deep breathing to wake yourself up. It might be that you have a problem with either one of your knees and you think, oh, I can't do child's pose. I had real problems with my knees some years ago. And the way I got around it was by taking a blanket, folding it up, and then putting it into the crease of my knees. I just jam it into the crease here and into the crease here. And then when I lean back, I'm supported. And this really is a lovely way to get full support from your knees. And I can stay up here like this. I can do whatever I want to. And it's great. This is actually quite a nice thing to do. If you can't sit on your heels for any reason, stick in a blanket and that blanket supports you here. And it really is very, very pleasant, to be honest. Well, pleasant and pleasant. I mean, define pleasant, right? But for me, this is really, really good. I can even come back on my heels and my arches as much as I want to, actually. Which I certainly couldn't do before I started Yin Yoga. So, I've done child's pose. I've done reclining butterfly. So what about these muscles here? What about the muscles, the so-called hip flexors, which are there and there and there? How can I stretch those out? And the answer I would say is cat pulling its tail. Now this is the way to do cat pulling its tail. If I start off from sitting down, or let's say I'm just getting out of bed, I can simply turn around, just push up slightly, and I'm going to grab hold of this foot, the right foot, and then I can lean on a pillow and I bring over my left foot like this. So I'm pulling across the hip flexors. And again, it's a lovely, lovely pose. You're doing several things with this. Number one is, if I just come out of the pose, don't come out of the pose if you're doing this with me, but if I just come out of the pose, you're stretching the hip flexors and you're stretching out your quadriceps all the way down here. Now, those muscles, if they're tight, especially the hip flexors, if you watch older people, says the very old guy, but if you watch older people, what happens is that they tend to bend forward. And they're doing this because these hip flexors are tight. And this is one easy way to unlock, not unlock the hip flexor, but certainly to stretch out the hip flexor, become less tight and much stronger. Look at the way old people walk, the way they bend over, and when their back bends, their neck bends, and the posture becomes rounded. And this is one of the ways in which you can help to prevent that to a certain extent, because it's like a cat pulling its tail. And then if you've been doing this for, say, 2 or 3 minutes, and I think I've been talking for 2 or 3 minutes, normally I would time this, as I say. Just release, come back, just unfold your leg, and then maybe lie with your feet up, like this. So you have your knees pointing up at the ceiling, you're nice and comfortable because you're in bed, and then just drop the knees together. And this is called teepee pose. If you can imagine the Indians in a teepee, and there's my teepee pose. The knees are together, the feet are slightly splayed. Then what I can do as a counter pose is just drop my knees to, say, the right. And now I'm looking at the outside of my hips. Bring up, drop to the left, pushing out the outside of this hip, inside of this one, up, right. I can feel it here. If I want to, I can push down with this arm. Left, right, left. One more time each side. Right, left. And then when you're ready, you can just turn around to the other side. And again, you don't even have to sit up for this, but I'll just sit up. Thread this leg over, the right leg over the left one. Grab hold of the left knee. Bring your right foot across. And again, I've got hold of my foot and I can pull. And I notice that on my left side, I'm slightly tighter than the right side. So again, I'm pulling at the hip flexors with this foot, but I can also use this hand to make sure that this here, the muscles all the way down here from the side, the IT band, the iliotibial band is also being stretched, which helps release pressure on my knee, release pressure on the outside of the hip. It's really, really good stretch. A great way of waking up your day. So now you say, yeah, but I don't have the flexibility to get there. I'm the same age as you, but I've not been exercising for a long time. I have not been certainly doing Yin Yoga, or I haven't been posing for a long time. Answer, a belt. So if you can, just get the belt around your foot, and then I have full control about how much I want to pose it. I want to go into the pose. It could be just this much, but it doesn't matter, because then I can just bring this leg over, and then I can control how much stress I put using the belt. And again, a super, super duper pose, stretching out the knee, stretching out the hip. Also, if you're keeping this shoulder down on the bed, you're going to give yourself this twist in the hips as well. The hips and the sides. And if you're a sports player, golf, tennis, paddle, whatever, that nice twist either side is going to help you play better. Use more hips through the shot than just using your arms through the shot. And then when you've done 2 or 3 minutes again, just release. If you have a belt on your foot, just take it off. Come back around into sitting position. And then just as a way of just finishing off really before you just get up and just run into the shower or whatever you want to do. Grab hold of both knees, make yourself nice and small, and just roll from side to side to side to side to side to side. And then flop over to whichever side you like, either the right side or the left side. Push up with your arms and then flip around to the side if you want to, or however you want to be, because hopefully you're now ready to go. So enjoy that 15-minute fix or Yin Yoga fix to help you start your day. Enjoy the day. Cheers.